The job is complete. Thanks for letting me stay. You should have left him a long time ago. For the past 6 months, Lena had been in a tumultuous relationship with her now ex-boyfriend Jared. When they initially started dating, Lena thought he was a nice guy. A little spoiled, but that was probably because he belonged to a rich family. But otherwise, Jared was charming, handsome, and Lena was happy with him. And for some reason, Jared liked her too. But things changed after they started living together. Lena realized how short-tempered Jared could be, but she overlooked it and always tried to make things work. But slowly, the arguments and the fights started to get out of hand. And Jared ended up breaking all batteries the day he hit her. But even then, Lena wanted to believe it happened in the heat of the moment. But when things continued to worsen with every recurring incident, Lena couldn't keep herself in denial that Jared was abusive by nature. Talking it out with Jared never got anywhere, but rather made the issues more complicated. There was no way this relationship was going to work out, because Jared wasn't willing to make it work. He only wanted to dominate. And Lena, she had her last straw with him. She decided she wasn't going to take this anymore. And one night, while Jared was asleep, she left him a note, "We're done," and left the house. Since then, she has been staying at her friend Miley's place. But of course, as she expected, Jared wasn't going to let her be so easy. A couple days later, Lena was leaving work when she found Jared waiting for her in the parking lot. "Lena, you can't ignore me." But Lena didn't even look at him and simply walked past. "Lena, let's go home." "Move out of the way, Jared. Please, come with me." "Jared, I can't have this conversation with you again. I told you I'm done with you, so just leave me alone." "No, you have to come with me. You don't have a choice." "Why? To be your play toy? That's never going to happen again." That wasn't the only time. But Jared tried to talk her into getting back together numerous times. He was suddenly apologetic for his behavior. He couldn't stop professing his love for her. But Lena wasn't to be a fool. She had seen all of this before, and she knew it wouldn't be long before he would go back on his word. So from then on, Lena tried not to isolate herself completely, leaving work with a few coworkers and traveling through busy streets or simply staying back at home when she could. Because deep down inside, Lena was a bit scared that Jared might go to the extremes like he had many times before. To Lena's relief, however, with some time, things settled down. But Lena would always keep her guard. It was early one morning. Lena was on the local bus on her way to work, scanning the streets hoping Jared wasn't around. She impatiently waited for her bus stop, when she noticed a guy sitting some seats ahead. Seeing another girl come stand in front of him, he got up and offered her the seat. Finally, a nice guy. Jared would never have gave up his seat for anyone. What am I talking about? He would have never even gotten onto a bus to begin with. The day went pretty busy for Lena, and she was eagerly waiting for her lunch break. Every day, she went to the same coffee shop around the curb. But today, when she walked in and sat down by the counter, she noticed a familiar face. It was the nice guy. "You're regular, right?" "You got it." Lena watched as the barista flirted with him. She scribbled down her number and note and handed him his coffee. "I'll see you around." "I would have sat down, but my lunch break is almost over. Getting really late, gotta go." So he works around here? Silly me. We took the same bus, of course he works around here. Why can't I find a guy like him, simple and decent? Jared never even had a real job in his whole life. The following day was Saturday, and every week, Lena went to the bookstore to pick up something new. She had a hobby of reading and was a member at BII Worms. "Excuse me, mister, would you happen to have a copy of the latest Professor Connery novels?" "Sorry, miss, I just now sold the last copy." Lena sighed, when suddenly, the guy that had just left the counter turned around. "Oh, was this the last copy?" "Yeah, man." Lena turned a bit surprised, and she didn't know why, but happy to see the nice guy again. "Looks like you were looking forward to this. You know what, you can have it. How about we share it? I'm Lena." "I'm Ben. Have we met before?" Lena and Ben finally got introduced to each other. They shared a cup of coffee in which Lena found out how much they had in common. She felt like he was everything she had been searching for, and she really hoped they would meet again. "Can I take you out sometime? On a date? If you're not taken, that is. I'm single, and I'd love to." And so, Lena and Ben started dating, and so far, things went great. Lena was finally recovering from her toxic relationship. Someone looks prepared for their third date. Things are getting serious with Ben, huh? Well, he is nice, but I'm gonna take it slow. It was a Friday night. Lena dressed pretty casual. She and Ben had plans to watch a movie and then dine out. But when she left the apartment that evening, she became drained of all excitement when she saw Jared. "Where are you going?" "Don't talk to me, Jared." "You're going on a date. You're dating that office geek." "Lena, listen to me. He's not the right person for you. Let me be the judge of that. You don't need to worry about me." As the rain started to pour, Lena hurried onto the road and waved at a taxi. She reached the theater a bit late, but just seeing Ben waiting for her under the shade cheered her up. "Thanks for spoiling the movie." "Spoiling it? What did I do?" "How is anyone supposed to focus when you look so beautiful?" "Oh, Ben." Lena was about to head inside with Ben when she suddenly spotted Jared. "He followed me here?" After the movie, she was relieved to see he had left, and she and Ben went to a nearby restaurant to have dinner. "This place is great. You'll love the food." "Yeah." Lena was looking through the menu when she suddenly spotted Jared parked outside the restaurant again. "I'm gonna teach him a lesson tonight." Lena ignored him completely, and since he was watching, she made sure to make him realize how happy and better off she was with Ben. Dinner went great. At around 10, Lena and Ben decided to leave. "Do you want me to drop you off?" "No, I want to go to your place." "Really? Alright, let's go." "Just 1 minute." Lena took out her phone to send a text to Miley she wasn't coming tonight. But all of a sudden, her phone went static and turned off. She noticed there was water inside. How did this get wet? Maybe because of the rain? But it was in my bag the whole time. Ben and Lena drove out about an hour into the neighborhood to his place. He had a nice house. It wasn't too big, but it was cozy. "Nice place." "Thanks, I'll go turn on the fireplace. It'll get warm in here soon." "May I go to the washroom?" "Sure, it's the third room upstairs." Lena went upstairs, walking down the hall as she peeked into the rooms. But just as she passed by the second room, she curiously stopped. Lena creaked open the door and stepped into Ben's bedroom. She was surprised to see handcuffs on his bed, a whip and a long thin stick on his table. "Wow, Ben, who knew you were like this?" Lena chuckled as she turned to leave, when she froze, seeing the wall behind her. "He's into all of this?" Lena was horrified and disturbed by what she saw. She immediately ran out and locked herself in the bathroom. Men were crazy. Was he planning to do all of that to me? Why did I even come? I should have just listened to Jared. But what am I going to do now? Lena suddenly realized her phone. It must have been Ben. There was no way it could have gotten ruined inside her bag. "I'll be right back." Lena climbed up on the toilet and tried to open the window, but it was really small. But perhaps she could somehow squeeze herself out. But that's when she froze, hearing Ben knock the door. "Lena, are you alright? You've been in there for a long time." Lena didn't know what to say, but as she remained silent, Ben continued to shake the doorknob. What would she do if he broke in? Lena tried to focus on getting out, when suddenly everything fell silent outside and there was a loud noise. "What's going on out there?" "Lena, it's me. Everything's fine. Open the door." Lena was startled hearing Jared's voice. He followed her all the way here? "Thank goodness you came. I didn't know. I told you he was a creep." Lena stared at Ben on the floor. Is he dead? No, just knocked him out. Now come on, let's go. Out in the rain, Lena got onto Jared's motorbike. Clutching onto him as they rode off, it felt like the old days again. "I'm sorry. I didn't trust you. I'll always be there for you, Lena." That night, Jared and Lena got back together. In the following days, she moved back in with him. And from then on, she stopped using that bus and going to that coffee shop, hoping she wouldn't bump into Ben. But one evening, after work, as she headed to the different bus stand, she noticed Ben again. "Jared, I've been using a different bus stop, but Ben found me, and I think he's following me." "Wait for me there. I think last time wasn't good enough. This time, I'll teach him a lesson. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Lena anxiously waited at the bus stand. There were but a handful of people out, and it was pretty dark. But it was just as he said. 10 minutes later, Jared came on his bike. "Where is he?" "I think he left." Going home with Jared, Lena never thought she would feel so safe and secure. After that night, she didn't see Ben again. And now, Jared too had changed a lot. Lena was happy. Perhaps what happened for the best. Time away from Jared made him realize her worth. He was now caring and protective, and of all things, he treated her decently. Maybe he's not that bad. He's not that bad. When Lena broke up with Jared, he couldn't take it. He wanted her back, and he knew if he didn't do something soon, Lena would be dating someone else, and she would slip out of his hands. So, he thought of a plan. He went on to Craigslist, a shady website where you could hire anyone to do anything for you, and met Bennett. Bennett was involved in all kinds of things that were often unspeakable, but Jared knew he was the man who could get this done. Whose life do I have to take? Not life. You have to break heart. It'll cost you more. Deal. In the coming days, Ben then started following Lena under Jared's guidance. Jared provided him with all the information from where she worked, which bus she took, which shops and restaurants she went to, her likes and dislikes. And Ben began to appeal to her the way she would like him. After baiting her, he took her out and made her fall in love with him. And finally, took her home so she could discover his horrifying secret. And the climax of all this drama was to scare her so Jared could come in and be her hero, her savior. But even after the two men had successfully completed the job, and Ben had gotten his pay, he saw this as a good opportunity to extort Jared. So he started blackmailing him that he would reveal his secret to Lena. Jared gave in to his demands twice, but on the third time, he refused to give in. That's when Ben made his way to Lena, but before he could reach her, Jared contacted him and without choice, gave him what he wanted. This time, Jared had managed to get away, but he knew Bennett would blackmail him again. It was just a matter of time. Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.